Hi, I'm Joel Griffith with Prevent Child Abuse Kentucky, and I'm here to talk to you about grandparents raising grandchildren. This is our Ask the Expert series, and I'm not sure that I would call myself an expert in this. I feel more like someone who's raising grandkids and just learning every day. Children really are different now, at least from my experience. They seem different than they were when I raised my children. I think that kids are more independent, they're more aware of drugs and sex and topics they see on the media, and it's different raising kids nowadays, so it takes a different response. I encourage you to take a parenting class, to read more, to get involved with other parents raising kids, because the more you know, the more you'll be able to meet the needs of today's children. The impact of trauma, the trauma that the kids that we're raising has gone through, makes how we respond differently. Our grandkids were removed 4 different occasions. On the last occasion, they were with us 2 years before we achieved permanency. So through that time period, they had a lot of trauma, a lot of unpredictability. We as caretakers need to be aware of that and respond to kids differently. All kids need consistency, they need predictability, but kids who've had trauma, kids who've had unpredictability in their lives need an extra level of that. As an example, when our kids were first placed with us, the nighttime was difficult for them. I think it was quiet, they had time to think, so those were occasions where every night for probably 2 months, I would lay down with them until they fell asleep and they would just talk. And one way of having them feeling control or in control of their lives is giving them choices. So for example, if it was shower time, we would say, do you want to get a shower now, or would you like to get a shower after supper? Or if the issue's eating vegetables, do you want green beans or do you want a salad? Just those little choices make kids feel like they're more in control. They also need predictability. So we found that it was really important for us to be consistent, about what time they went to bed, what time they got up. They responded well to this. They need to know, what time they're leaving for the soccer game. Are they going to be there on time? Those little things that seem unimportant to us, for kids who've lived with chaos and unpredictability, become really important. Part of dealing with trauma, or helping children deal with trauma, is helping them to learn to identify and express their feelings. This really isn't a time where you sit down and say, let's talk about feelings. For us, it's about being aware of those teachable moments, or aware of those times when you can just let them bring up things and you just listen. Often this was in the context of playing games or watching TV or in a car ride. So it was really about just creating those opportunities and being attentive to them and just being willing to listen. Of course, responding to trauma or giving kids an opportunity to talk about their feelings also involves you listening and never offering judgment on the parent. You simply have to recognize that that's their parent, they love their parent, and that you cannot put yourself in the position of talking badly about that parent in front of them. Is that even though I've worked in the child welfare system, I knew the child welfare system, I was perplexed by this system. So as a grandparent raising grandkids, one of the pieces of advice I'd give to you is be prepared to be frustrated, be prepared to hear decisions that you don't necessarily like, to address those situations and those disagreements with people respectfully as you're trying to model for your grandchildren the type of resilience that you want them to have. I would encourage you to get to know your worker well, the guardian ad litem, the county attorney. Be prepared to make your voice heard and advocate for what you think is right. To know that you're doing the right thing. No one plans as part of their retirement to raise their grandchildren, but the fact that you're there is incredibly important to them. All the research, everything we know, tells us that kids who've been through trauma do better if there's a safe, stable, long-term relationship. You being there is a key to their future. Because you are so important to your grandchildren, it's important that you take care of yourself. Find those areas of support, faith community, grandparent support groups, friends, neighbors. Also, you can call 1-800-CHILDREN and we can connect you with resources in your community.